Hello friends, so I continue with the questions from process costing. I start with the illustration number 3 of your ICI module. Again it is a normal standard question. It is carrying two processes. After second process there will be a finished goods stock, out of which few units are sold and few units are kept as closing stock. So whatever is sold will go to cost of sale, the cost of that, and balance stock will be having a cost on its own. I need to start with process 1, consider its normal loss or abnormal gain, whatever applicable. Then process 2, then only finished goods stock will come. So let's make it in a sequential manner. I'll first make process 1 account. Same format as we studied in last class. This is debit, this is credit. Particulars, units, rupees, particulars, units, rupees. I start with the first process, material there. Question tells me raw materials used, two raw materials, $7,500 units and 60 per unit is cost. So I am getting amount of 4,50,000. Then transfer to next process. I can put it in the beginning itself. By process 2 account 7050. The valued cost will come later on. After the working note, I'll be putting the valued cost. Normal loss 5% by normal loss. 7,500 into 5%. I get 375 units. Then for this normal loss, scrap is given in the end of this table, 12.50 per unit. This into 12.50, you get 4687.50. This is scrap value of normal loss, 12.50 per unit. Let's go for the direct wages. To direct wages, nil. 1,35,750. Then direct expenses. It is given 60% of direct wages. 135,750 multiplied by 60%. 81,450. 2. Manufacturing overheads. 20% of direct wages. 135,750 into 20%. 27,150. Realizable value I have already considered. This is all about process 1. Now if you concentrate there on credit side, units column I am doing. Balancing figure is on credit side. Means what it is? It is abnormal loss. Abnormal loss. This is balancing figure. 7,500 minus 7,050 minus 375. I am getting 75 units abnormal loss. This is balancing figure of units column. Now amount column, before I do there, I need to get valued cost per unit. So I need to do the working note. valued cost per unit. How do I compute valued cost per unit? Is equal to total cost minus scrap value of normal loss whole divide by input minus normal loss units. Means expected output is the denominator there. So I need to add debit side there. 4,50,000, 135,750, 81,450, 27,150. I get there 694,350. But I need to deduct from there 694,350 minus 4687.50. What I get there 689662.50. Whole divide by 7500 minus 375. Divide by 7125 units. What I am getting is 96.7947 dash 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 per unit. This is to be multiplied with 7050. I get the value here 682,402.89, and when multiplied by 75 I am getting 7259.61. I should get 694,350 total. This is process 1 there. Normal loss, abnormal loss I'll make in the end, but first I'll like to go to process number 2. So in process 2 account, in a proper format that I have created, I'll start from process 1 inputs to process 1 account. 7050 units, they transferred 682,402.89. There is no further material. The output transfer to finished goods stock by finished goods stock account 6525 units to be valued later on at valued cost, that will compute later on, by normal loss. 10% of this input 705 units, and each unit has scrap value. At the bottom of the table you can see on right hand side column 37.50 per unit. So you are getting is 26,437.50 scrap value of normal loss. Now comes debit side again. 2 direct wages, 129250. 2 direct expenses, it is 65% of direct wages here, 129250 into 65%, 84012.50. 2 manufacturing overheads, 15% of direct wages, 129250 into 15%, 19387.5. Nothing else is there. You need to get into the details here. Now if you calculate quantity column, units column, you find the balancing figure is on debit side, because more than 7200 something you are getting on right hand side. On debit side is only 7050, 6525 plus 705. This is 7230. So balancing figure is what? Balancing figure is abnormal gain to abnormal gain, 180 units. This is balancing figure. On debit side is gain, on credit side is loss. 7230. Now this is also going to be put at valued cost. They are based on working note 2. Valued cost per unit for process 2. Let us calculate. From debit side, total cost, which I will not write in the total column because there you are going to put the abnormal gain also. 682,402.89 plus 129,250 plus 84,012.50 plus 19387.50. I am getting 915,052.89 minus scrap value of normal loss 26,437.50. What I get there is 888615.39. In denominator 7050 minus 705. I get 6345. I am getting is 140.049 dash dash. If I multiply this with 6525, I am getting here 913,824.34. If I 25,208.95. Now the total of both sides has to be 940,261.84. So it is tallied at 940,261.84. Now remember, this is at valued cost, this is at valued cost. Using valued cost per unit. This is only for your remembrance. In exam, you are not going to make any signals like this. This is only for your understanding and remembrance. Abnormal loss, abnormal gain and completed units transferred to finished goods stock or next process, they are taken at valued cost per unit. Now I am going to make finished goods stock account. It will be little smaller because you are going to only sell and keep in the closing stock. Particulars, units, rupees. Particulars, units, rupees. Finished goods stock account. It does not have any opening balance. It is getting from process 2 account. To process 2 account. So what did it get? It got 6525 units with cost of 913,824.34, I think. Yes, till paisa I am doing correct. Your institute might be approximating here and there. I am not approximating. By cost of sales, by balance carried on, which will go to balance sheet. It is very simple. You have sold 6,000 units. At whatever profit, sale will come in costing P&L. Sale will not come here. Profit never comes in my process costing except in case of inter-process profits. That we are going to do later. What you are going to get? 6,000 units, 525 units. Per unit is same as we computed earlier. I got 140.0497 something. Multiply with 6,000. I am getting 840,298.24. And with 525 I am getting 73526.10. You can see it is still tallied. This is finished goods stock count. Is the question complete? No. We are yet to make normal loss account, abnormal loss account, abnormal gain account, costing P&L account. After that question will be complete. So making next one, normal loss account. There is no unit column in these accounts. So making three accounts simultaneously, normal loss, abnormal loss, abnormal gain. First, I post from both process accounts. From process 1, on credit side, normal loss 26437.5. 26437.5 to process 1 account. In first process, what else you got? You got abnormal loss 7259.61. 7259.62 process 1 account. Then from process 2. Process 2 you are checking. You get normal loss 26437.5. Okay, that was process 2. To process 1 account. Process 1 account I should check. 4687.5. So write carefully process 1 and 2. In process 1, what did I get? Abnormal loss 7259.61. I have put already. In process 2, I got abnormal gain 25208.95 by process 2 account. 25208.95. Now let us treat first abnormal loss, which is very simple. Abnormal loss came in first account and the units were 75. Now these units will be sold by bank. 75 into 12.50. Remember one thing I keep saying again and again. Abnormal loss units, are they sold? Yes. Does the sale value affect my process account? No. It affects my abnormal loss account. So 75 into 12.5. It comes here 937.5. The balancing figure of this goes to costing P&L account. 7259.61. This is 6322.11. This is the total. This is complete. Abnormal loss account is gone. Abnormal gain. Remember the special entry to normal loss. And it affects abnormal loss account also by abnormal gain. What is this? Second process. Abnormal gain units 180 at the rate of scrap per unit 37.50. 180 into 37.50. Same entry having effect at two places. 180 into 37.50. This is very important entry which students do wrongly many times. This is by bank. Abnormals are to costing P&L. So what I am getting, this minus 25208.95. I am getting is 18458.95. This is balancing figure. This was also balancing figure. Here this is balancing figure by bank. 26437.5 plus 4687.5 minus 6750. I am getting in bank 24375. Check. I hope it is clear. Lastly, I create a costing P&L account in this. Costing profit and loss account. No units column, particulars and rupees. I am going to get two cost of sales. And that comes from finished goods stock account that we made. 840,298.24. 890,298.24. In this, I have to add 15% to get sales. Sales came nowhere except this. By sales. 840,298.24 plus 15%. Once I add, I get 966,342.98. To abnormal loss by abnormal gain. Abnormal loss, check out the account. Abnormal gain I am getting here 18458.95. Abnormal loss I got 6322.11. Now whatever you get is called to net profit. $18458.95. The total I am getting is 984,801.93 minus 840,298.24 minus 6322.11. I am getting net profit 138,181.58. Total will be same 984,801.93. So this was most comprehensive question on basics of process accounts, which included all gains, losses, finished goods stock account and costing P&L account. Further, I take you through another set of concepts which is inter-process profits. I'm not starting treatment of work in progress, that is equivalent production concepts, because that needs some fresh mind, which we'll be doing in the next class tomorrow. Let's concentrate on what is meant by inter-process profits. So far I have told you in process costing, the profits don't come except in costing P&L. But this is a concept where specifically a profit column is made in the process accounts. So where do you get inter-process profits? Sometimes the output of each process is transferred to the next process after adding the profit margins. Means in each process we are putting on credit side some transfer price. In other words, a transfer pricing policy is followed for transfer of output from one process to the other. The process is not sending its product to next process at cost but at some profit. It is sending at some transfer price. In this situation, there is a need to create a special type of process account with the following three amount columns. The three amount columns in older syllabus, they were very easy to calculate, to remember, because they were CPT. Your earlier course, earlier than foundation course, the course was known as CPT. Here it is same, CPT. What is C? Cost column, P profit column, and T total column. Now try to understand clearly. Cost is cost from company point of view. Profit is profit, inter-process profit. T total is cost from this process point of view. If I get a cost of 100, I add 20 rupees profit. From next process point of view, 120 is its cost. Its total column is 120, which is its cost. From company angle, it is not cost. From company angle, cost remains 100. They will incur more cost, but on 120 from their point of view, from company point of view on 100. So try to make a distinction. Cost column is company cost, total column is that process cost, profit is inter-process profit, which is difference between T and C. Points to be remembered. If you remember these points, question can be easily done. It is one node question which comes in 3-4 attempts for 8 marks. But it is not a very intricate question. One question will do. All questions are similar to this in exam also. Cost represents cost from entity point of view. Profit represents inter-process profit. And total column represents cost from department or process point of view, receiving process point of view. T is equal to C plus P always. Total equal cost plus profit. Now important points. Next points are very, very important to follow. The closing stock of process is required to be deducted from debit side. That is a different thing that you are getting here. Deducted from debit side. Have you ever seen in a ledger account deductions on debit side? No, you have not seen. You will see it today. In case stock is valued at prime cost, question will tell you, it shall be deducted before charging factory overheads. In case stock is valued at factory cost, it must be deducted only after charging factory overheads. Question will tell you about valuation. Wherever valuation is there, before that stock will be deducted. Very important, most important. Normally the value of closing stock is given. This value represents amount from total column. Very important. Question does not say is this cost of the company or of the department, but it is departmental cost, means total column only. There is a need to bifurcate this figure into cost and profit element, because we are making separate column for cost and profit. I need to bifurcate into cost and profit. This is to be done using reasonable ratio concept. Now which ratio is a reasonable ratio? Are you sure what ratio is reasonable ratio? It is written next. The most reasonable ratio is the ratio of total cost and total profit just before the reducing closing stock. When you are going to reduce closing stock, before that we have done total, that ratio of cost and profit in that total will be my reasonable ratio. This we will see in a practical question. We'll check in the practical question. When profit is to be charged, it must be charged on the figure of total column, which represents total cost from process point of view. Question says 30% profit on cost. Don't put it on cost column. It is on total column only because that is process cost. Question says 20% on selling price or transfer price. 1/5 of sale is 1/4 of cost. So again 1/4 of total column, not cost column. Students do errors in this part also. So be careful in this part. This one page notes will help you deal with inter-process profit question. Lastly, I am discussing illustration number 6 of your institute module. That is the only question given for inter-process profit. So concentrate on this because there are two processes, one finished goods stock, all to be created with the help of inter-process profit concepts. Question tells me output of process 1 is transferred to process 2 at some profit, 2 is transferred to finished goods stock at some profit. That gives me the indication that it is a question of inter-process profit. So looking at process 1, I make in same way cost, profit, total. No units column here. No losses, no gains. It is simple cost, profit, total. On debit side also and credit side also. So what I am getting here, debit side, credit side. First thing you are given opening stock. I put it here. I'll keep on reading from your question and keep marking here. To opening stock 7,500. Second item materials 15,000. I'll keep on putting it here. I'll keep on putting marker yellow on whatever is read from question. Calculations I'll explain separately. Direct materials 15,000. To direct materials 15,000. Direct wages 11,200. To direct wages 11,200. Now be sure in these two items there can never be any profit. So always they are going to be equal. Opening stock I need to check. Last line in the table given. Inter-process profit included in opening stock. It is written nil in process 1. So in process 1 it is nil. In second, third process, whatever finished goods stock, there will be some profit. So it is same. I am reading one odd line at the bottom. Third line below the table. Stock in process is valued at prime cost. So note here, valuation at prime cost. What I taught you, when valuation is at prime cost, I must deduct closing stock without putting factory overheads. So this implies must deduct closing stock without charging factory overheads. Will you charge factory overheads in the process account? Yes, I will charge. But after deducting closing stock to be deducted from debit side. So here I get total and here I get closing stock. Closing stock is given 3,700. It is this figure. Now this 3,700 is to be put in ratio of these. As it is nil in profit, it will remain nil in profit here. What I am getting is nil here and 3,700 here. In second process, you will understand better because there will be some profit element. So you need to get the reasonable ratio concept, which you will get correctly in second process. Here I am getting 30,000 nil, 30,000. Now I charge factory overheads 10,500 nil and 10,500. Total here. Total column, cost column, here they are same, so does not matter, but I'll still have to put on total column. For second process, I am telling you all the concept. Output of process 1 is transferred to process 2 at 25% profit on transfer price. What it is saying? %25 profit on transfer price. What is transfer price? Selling price. Implies one third on cost. This is 1/4. 1/4 profit on transfer price means 1/3 profit on cost. So 1/3 of which column? Of total column. 10,500 is profit. Profit is not to be put in cost column. Company cost will not change. You will put that in profit column, total column. This is total. Very important. This total gets transferred to next process by process 2. This is coming from left hand side. This is a total also. First process is complete. You may find it a little difficult because this is coming first time and there are no more practice questions. In same question, 2 times more you will be doing the same and you will be getting more and more practice. So concentrate here. Second process, extremely important. If you can understand second process, you have done the concept of inter-process profit. Now, this I am getting here. This I have got from previous process. Look at opening stock. First item in process 2. To opening stock, 9,000 in total column. How did I know that 9,000 is total column? Last row of the table. Inter-process profit included in opening stock is 1,500. It is included in 9,000. So 1,500 included there. Cost will be 7,500. 9,000 is total. 1,500 is profit included there. 7,500 is cost column. Direct material 15,750, nil 15,750, direct wages also. Now I have to add here. This makes sense because there you will understand the concept of apportionment in reasonable ratio. Totals. Very important is closing stock. Given 4,500. Given 4,500. How much cost, how much profit, not known. For opening stock, it was written. For closing stock, it is left up to you to decide how much is profit, how much is cost. So here, by making a star, I am putting 4,500 to be apportioned in cost and profit in most reasonable ratio. What is most reasonable ratio? Totals before you apportion. Totals before you apportion. If I had put factory overhead, ratio will be different. That's why valuation criteria is important. If criteria is based on prime cost, I don't add factory overhead. If it is based on factory cost, I would have added factory overheads also and ratio would have been different. My apportionment would have been different. So apportionment I am getting 4,500 in this ratio. I am getting is 3,750 and 750. Having done this, take the totals. Factory overhead 4,500, only cost, which will be total also. Add them all. I am able to reach there. You need to do it on your own. At this moment you can note it, but later on do it on your own. 2 times, 3 times. You will be able to get the concept clearly. Note those 4 points which I first explained to you. After that, this question can be dealt. Still not over. What did it say? Second line below the table. output of process 2 is transferred to finished stock at 20% profit on transfer price. So it is saying 20% means 1/5 on transfer price, that is selling price. Implies 1/4 on total column. Here students do wrong. What they do? They do 1/4 of cost column. Cost column is not process cost. Cost column is only company cost, which does not include profit charged by process 1 to process 2. You want to charge profit on that also. So total column 1/4. This is what I am getting. 90,000 into 1/4 is 22,500. Again in profit column and total column. These are aggregates. These aggregates go from here to this, and this will be transferred to finished goods stock. This goes to finished goods stock. We are around the last lap of this question. So I am getting from here, I am reaching this to process 2. Now finished goods stock again, total stock given 22,500. Last row in the table, inter-process profit included in opening stock 8,250. Balancing is 14,250. 22,500 minus 8,250. I got 14,250. There is no labor, no wages, nothing in the finished goods stock. I get totals here. Closing stock apportionment is the last point here. Important. 11,250. Explained. Your module, I hope, is doing this wrongly. He is doing ratio wrongly. He is not taking total column. So it is not acceptable here. This is apportioned in most reasonable ratio, 2:1. Once done here, you will get this after deducting. Now is important. You are given sale value 1,40,000. I have written there 1, 2, 3. First thing is put this. After that, get this. This is balancing figure. Copy paste here. 1, 2, 3. Then totals, copy paste. 1, 140. 2, balancing figure in total column profit. 3, that will go to profit column also. And then add debit side, copy paste everywhere. And my question is complete. Inter-process profit is little tricky if you don't practice little bit more. You must read the text that I read earlier. You must do this question 2 times, 3 times, so that you can get a total grasp over the concept of inter-process profit. It will not be used anywhere else later on. So unique concept to be done in a unique manner. I hope this one is clear. Next concept of equivalent production will be little more tricky, very important. That is what we will be starting in next session tomorrow.